First is that people forgot about the ecosystem. Why, essentially it's a bicycle sharing. Instead of you own other bags and you can, share with other people and on the way, and it actually makes so much sense because you don't want to store those bags, and you may need a bag from A to B, but you may not need a bag from B to C, and you can't carry a bag with you, and because you have to go home and carry that bag with you on home because people just have so much needs, differentiated needs on transportation, and it's very personal. Nobody knows, particularly for young students, that they can be anywhere or anytime, that they want that freedom. But it's important to recognize what the ecosystem, what the China's sort of innovation ecosystem has done that enabled this from unimaginable, jokeable idea, including Didi and, to be Uber to be like today. I think first is payment. You think about without payment, instant payment. So we have to thank WeChat Pay and Alipay able to do that, to be, almost like, anywhere, any place, and so easy to use. And you click a button, you get paid, and it can traceable to you, and you can have, sort of a review, all those things. So I think mobile internet and payment technology, again, so this is where, like fintech and internet finance help so much on building ecosystem of any other verticals. I think that's number one, where I see the parallel, why this is so relevant, why the initial internet payment structure are so relevant to other innovations. Obviously, why there's, not necessarily all the startups make money. I mean, to be exact, most of the startup in the internet space in China don't make money for a long period of time. That's a job what we do to bridge the gap. We are essentially putting capital innovation in, where we believe that can create value. We're not sure how much money they're gonna make, but what we truly believe is first is how much value you can create. Once you can create value, making money should be a consequence instead of a goal of making money. So that's why we actually emphasize investing in entrepreneurs who are value creation oriented instead of business model and money oriented. Obviously, for this particular company, I think they really have a great entrepreneur who are visionary, who are going for the long run, and who are doing this in a number of ways that's much more than just a simple back sharing, but also bringing other technology and services so that consumers can feel much better about the usage, about the maintenance, about a number of ways around that to make the system better. So we are a big believer in those technology innovation. And as well, of course, there's competition. I think I like competition. I think competition, especially with a great competitor, helps actually bring out the best of each other. I think that's a good thing to have. And it's great that on the internet innovation industry, you never worry about too few competition. There's always a lot of competition. So that's a good thing to have.
So we can see this gentleman in the brown jacket. We have another question, please.
Yeah, thank you, Zhang Lei. You have made very good overall comments about the industry and US and China. Can you make some more specific comments about, let's say, Hong Kong, and to a larger extent, Shenzhen and Hong Kong, in the fintech space?
Sure. I'm involved in Hong Kong on 2 committees who are very active in thinking to really be the thought leader and sort of a government advisory body. So one is FSDC, really playing a leading role in this space about organizing industry players. I think Laura Cha is just an incredible, amazing leader in bringing everybody together to figure out what's ahead for Hong Kong. In addition to that, I'm also on the FinTech Steering Committee, and which is specifically looking at the FinTech at the vertical, whether there's any relevant innovation that Hong Kong can foster. I think Hong Kong has a lot of opportunities because of the, really because of the way there are a lot of talents in Hong Kong. It's proximity to mainland. There's a connection to be cross-border and with a huge potential sort of catchment area, as well as the sort of home base, if you will, of a whole Greater China area. I think just a lot of room ahead for Hong Kong, but Hong Kong needs to be more coordinated. Needs to be more forward-thinking in how do we position that. I'm very glad that I have met with a number of leaders in Hong Kong in those areas. So regulators, they are on top of everything. They actually, you ask them, they go to, UK, Digital Garage. They go visit many different places, Silicon Valley, China, other places, and trying to synthesize the information and to be to have the the relevant regulation and fostering the community. I think I wish we could be more forward-thinking. We could be more forceful in building up the ecosystem, in fostering the talents, the venture capitalists, and the community, and also sort of changing some parts of regulation to draw the sandbag for people to experiment. And there are so many things that we still could do in this space, not only relevant to Hong Kong sort of consumers as to create value, but really position Hong Kong to be a leading innovation hub for Asia and for the world. I think that actually is attractiveness. That's going to create a lot of new career opportunities for students, because you're suddenly being exposed and to service not just Hong Kong, but also potentials throughout Asia.
Maybe yes, this lady in the first row.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zhang. My name is Scarlett. I just graduated from Harvard this year. I'm working for a private equity firm in Hong Kong. I'm a member of the Hong Kong Hill House Academy. And as, of course, from that point of perspective, I am a firm believer of value investing, just like you. So my question is very simple, but very straightforward one. How would you recommend that we, as an investor, can incorporate the philosophy of value investing in investing into the internet finance? And also, the second question is, as young professionals, how would you suggest ourselves to invest in ourselves to prepare for a larger area of the internet finance?
Yeah, I think I think both are great questions. Is really, they are interconnected. I think in the end, it's about creating value. Whether value investing, it's not just about discovering value. It's not just about, okay, this pie is this big. I found, I have a view. Other people only see this much. I can see this much. That's only one way of, or traditional, conventional sense of value investing. I think real value investing not only about discovering value, but creating value together. So I think that's what we believe, that, well, discovering value is important, but are you, building up the capacity to be value creator in that process? So that's relevant to students today. That's relevant to your career choice. I think instead of saying, just analyzing what's going on, to say, okay, can I do something to help accelerate this process? Can I work with a team that I can contribute and create value in this process? And I think those come back to my earlier talk about back to basics and back to fundamentals. Have the number one for students is to able to do deep fundamental research and ask very basic questions. And in having that capacity just so important in this sort of new innovation area. On top of that, I would advise that you work with people that you truly believe and you truly trust. It's not actually necessarily about size of the company or how glamorous the industry is viewed. It's about daily who are you interacting with, who are you spending time with. That's it. At Hill House we call it spend quality time with quality people. That's it. It's very simple. We don't think, joining a firm. I mean, when we started, nobody knew what a Hill House is. I mean, today we got thousands of applications, but it's really about, who you're spending time with. That's gonna shape who you are. It's not about, in this bank or this firm because it's famous. It's about who are you interacting on a daily basis.
So we have the next question, maybe. Yes, this guy up there in suits, please.
Thank you, Mr. Zhang. My name is Dandas. Actually, I'm personally a big fan of you, and I believe you have always been my role model in the value investing industry. But I'm also very curious all the time, like for someone as successful as you and influential as you do in the investment world, how do you deal with your personal emotions when you face very hard personal or business decisions in life? Or in other words, how do you prevent yourself from negative emotions on a daily basis? Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a great question. I think, I'm not sure I'm great in that. I'm always, I think the best way to say that is always on the road. So, I would say a couple of advice. One, I would say practice makes perfect. So you have to practice. In my situation, I face a lot of challenges, disappointments, disillusion all the time, and I recognize how stupid I am, and almost all the time. So that happens, and you have to have the capacity to laugh at yourself. If you think, too much of yourself, then you actually set yourself up for failure. So the capacity to laugh at oneself is very important. That just, make a joke with yourself and relax it. Secondly, just recognize the world is a journey. So I think it's less about the success itself, more about that journey. It's not about where you go, but who are you going with. So that's what I always believe, and I'm just so lucky always assemble a team of Hill House, really kind of our Hill House organization, the people that I really find, a lot of fun to interact with and, work together and, really, work very long hours and also have fun all the time as well. So I think have that capacity and enjoy that journey is just so important. And once you able to do that, it's a little bit, I would say easier to deal with failures and deal with disappointments. Obviously we are very competitive people. We want to win, so you still have to deal with those issues. But you take it in a long term, kind of a long-term lens instead of taking a too short-term success or failure issues. And finally, I would say, it's a peace of mind, and you need to have a great home, a great family. I'm so blessed with a family that I love to play with, and I have 3 kids and play with them, and they make me younger. So, I learned to do wake surfing with my older son. I'm right now finally picking up my ping pong with my younger son. And so it's a lot of fun. I think you have to balance that career and life and family. I think from time to time you will get a reminder on that.
So thank you very much, Mr. Zhang, for your genuine advice. I'm sorry that we couldn't take more questions, but I'm sure you guys have a great time listening to his sharing on internet finance. And ladies and gentlemen, now it has come to the end of the sharing session here. And on behalf of all the students here, we would like to express our, once again, many thanks to Mr. Zhang. We would also like to show our appreciation to FSDC for organizing this event in our campus.